Hi, and welcome back to JenTalks. This is more tools for when you're not okay. So, we started out with a talk previous to this, which was it's okay not to be okay. And then we moved on from that for last week's talk, which was tools for when you're not okay. And I said, even though that talk was about 13 minutes long, we only really tipped the surface. So I'm going to continue on a weekly basis, giving tools for people when they're not feeling okay and they're ready to come out of that. Maybe they feel like they've climbed up onto the ledge and they're ready to access some tools. I'm also going to be talking to people who may be feeling okay themselves, but are surrounded by people who look like they might be struggling and they need a bit of support, and what best way to approach that. So some tips and guidance on that. And I will be posting every single week all over the Christmas throughout the new year. So you can follow me at any stage on my YouTube channel. My handle is my name, Jenny Cruz, and I'm also all over my social media platforms. The other thing I wanted to say is any of the tools, if you want any of the handouts or any extra support, just contact me through my social media platforms, whatever way suits you, emails, PMs, DMs, whatever works for you. So let's get started. I finished last week's talk talking about accessing tools that were really around, I suppose, pausing in the moment and checking in with yourself. So check-in was a huge tool we talked about. I'm going to introduce a tool today. I suppose it's not really a tool, it's more of a concept, but I do have it in handout form if people want to use it as a tool. And it's definitely something I would use in my coaching practice and with my students. And it's bringing our awareness to the four cornerstones of well-being. So our well-being, if you think of it like a chair, has four legs to the chair, and each of those legs holds the chair stable so that we can sit on it properly. So each one of the cornerstones makes up how we feel well in ourselves. One of the cornerstones is breath. So anyone that's listened to me before knows I'm a qualified breath coach. Breath is introduced in all of my courses and all of the sessions I use in coaching. So there's some amazing videos on my channel around breath, and you'll see the yoga breath coach, certified coach logo that represents those videos. If you can't find them, contact me and I will send you on the link. I'm also speaking for the last time this year on the 14th of December in partnership with Joanne Faulkner, who runs the Chi Flow group, and she is a shiatsu practitioner. And the event is on my social media pages as well as hers, so Joanne Faulkner. And that's the 14th of December in the evening on Zoom. I'll be teaching breath for stress and anxiety. Anybody that's feeling a little bit overwhelmed in this season, that's a really good talk to get onto. But even if you can't make the talk, have a look on the YouTube channel. There's amazing tools and amazing talks there on breath. Breath is life. Without breath, there is no life. And also what people don't understand about breath is meditation. So breath is the original form of meditation. So you think about meditation, mindfulness, the first thing we do is we bring our awareness to our breath and we slow our breath down. So I'll be talking more about breath as a singular tool in further talks down the line, but just for the moment I want to highlight that that is one of the main cornerstones of well-being. So if you're feeling a little bit under the weather, ask yourself, and this is what I want you to do with each one of these corners, is to say to yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy am I with my current activity or current motivation or productivity in this area? So in other words, am I doing breathing exercises? Do I ever even think about how I breathe? Do I use breath work at night? Do I use breath work during the day? Or do I use breath work at all? If you're not using it at all and you want to increase your use of breath work, then you're going to score it low. And what we're going to look at when we finish scoring each of the areas is what we can do to bring our scores up even by 1 point on each of the areas. So say, for example, you're new to breath work, you've kind of heard about it, you don't really do it on a daily basis, but sometimes you do it in your yoga practice or your gym, you're giving yourself a score of 4. We're not looking at making that 10 overnight. We're looking at what one thing can I do that can bring my breath work up by 1 point. So it might be to do 5 really nice, long, slow breaths in the morning, and that'll bring us up to number 5 or further. And again, it's your opinion where you feel you're at on the scale. So if you want that handout that invites you to scale and gives you the questions to ask, contact me directly. The other area of our 4 cornerstones of well-being is sleep. Now, I have a talk on JenTalks about sleep, but I am definitely coming back to do another one over the Christmas, because one of the things that goes out the window when we're overwhelmed, stressed, and suffering from anxiety is sleep. And sleep has such an effect on our metabolism, on our rate of aging, at our hormonal level. When we don't sleep properly, the body doesn't recharge properly. So I'm going to talk about sleep, how tools for sleep. I'm going to talk about your belief systems around sleep and tools for sleep and breath work for sleep and even foods for sleep in a separate talk this side of Christmas for sure. But for now, I want you to give yourself a score on sleep and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy am I with the amount of sleep I get? So it's not how much sleep you get, because some people have 4 hours and they're super productive and super happy and energetic after 4 hours. Some people have 10 and they're still wrecked. It's how do you feel after you sleep, and how happy are you with your quality of sleep? So give it a score and we'll come back to it. Then we have activity. So activity is, the body needs to move, absolutely. So we need to kind of keep the body nimble. I think of it like a tree. When a tree is young and fresh, it's really flexible. Our branches, we can kind of bend them without them snapping. And then as a tree ages, it gets really solid and stiff. So as we age, we get more solid and stiff. Our veins and our vascular body starts to dry up and starts to get more rigid. And really what we want is to keep that flexible. So what is it again? How happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10 with your level of activity? So it doesn't matter if your neighbor's going to the gym 7 nights a week, or you've never been in a gym in your life. It's really down to you. Are you know yourself? Like I said on last week's talk, you are the expert of you. Are you feeling like you're getting enough activity in your life? And activity doesn't have to be punishment. It doesn't have to be 10,000 steps or 3 hours in the gym or strength lifting weights. Gentle aerobic exercise, 20 minutes a day, is absolutely scientifically proven to have huge impact on your health. So a 20-minute walk is like you walk out the door for 10 minutes and you walk back in again. It doesn't have to be hard work. So if at the moment maybe you're driving to work, can you park your car a little bit further away so you have a 10-minute walk to increase your 20 minutes activity? And of course, because we're coming into the cold weather and we're coming into the winter, well, in this part of the world we are anyway, in the Western Hemisphere, so it's harder to get out and be more active. So ask yourself, what can I do indoors that might make me be active? I mentioned Joanne Faulkner. I am a member of our Qigong group. I haven't actually done my Qigong in a couple of months because due to my nourishment levels reducing, my motivation has kind of fallen down through the cracks. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But I'm back on track now, and I've made a commitment to myself that definitely for the month of December, I'm going to do 20 minutes, whether it's outdoors walking or it's indoors Qigong or yoga or something that, helps me to be more active and more flexible. So if I was scoring my own activity right now on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably be giving it a 2. So it's not, I'm not trying to preach what I already do. I'm just teaching you what I already know. So I know today my level of activity is probably scoring at a 2. So I'm going to say to myself, right, for the rest of the week, what one thing can I do to increase that by 1 point? So I can get up to 3 by the end of the week. I'll be happy. And guess what? Next week, then I'm going to try and get it up to a 4. And even if I get up to a 6, and that's my average level of activity, I'm happy with that. We're not aiming, you don't have to aim for 10. And we don't have to be perfect or 10 out of 10 in all the 4 cornerstones. Where I fought a score really high in my cornerstones of well-being is breath and sleep. So that gives me a little bit of wiggle room in the other areas. But of course, like the legs of a chair, if one is wobbly or one is broken or one is missing, it has an impact on all of the areas. So it's the idea of us having a little bit of balance. So if you're scoring really high on the activity area, well, then you might look at the other areas that you might want to improve in. So give yourself a score and then ask yourself what one thing you can do to bring that up by 1 point. Then the last one then is, just before we finish on activity, I also want to bring in the concept of joy. What do you do that fills your heart with joy? Because activity is very much about that. It should never be this have to, like I really should be going to the gym and I should be doing this and I could be, I have to do that. If you hear yourself saying that, try and convert a should into a could. I could walk to work today, not I should walk to work today. Or I want to walk because I know I'm going to feel the endorphins when I get to work, or my head's going to be clear, or whatever it might be. So just notice that when you're speaking to yourself. The last one then is nourishment. And this is kind of sometimes a little bit controversial. So first of all, I'm not a nutritionist. I only know what makes me feel good and what feeds my body. And what I've done is I've started adding a lot of foods to my life, really, and that I know are going to, I suppose, increase my energy and balance my hormones, because I'm at that certain age that I kind of just need that little bit of extra help. And I know that my motivation has been a little bit low the last couple of months. So I'm looking at it on a holistic level. It's not just a mindset. It's not just a physical thing. It's also to do with nutrition. So I do take nutrition. I prioritize it. I look at it and I say, what does Jenny's body need right now? So I've started adding in some foods that have helped me to feel better. I'm not even going to name them because everybody's so unique. You need to look at your own body. But if you do need to look at nutrition, then look at nutrition. You know, again, Joanne Faulkner, I promise you, she's not giving me any brown envelopes for naming her in this talk, but she's a fantastic nutritionist, and she's again follows the school of traditional Chinese medicine, that you listen to your body and you listen to even the seasons and what foods are good for different organs in the body. But there's tons of information. That's the beauty of the digital age. We have so many, I suppose, challenges with social media and media, but we also have so many advantages and opportunities at our feet that information is freely available. So if you're feeling lacking in motivation, lacking in energy, have a look at what's going on with your body. And also, have you gone and had some tests, some blood tests done, like what your iron levels like, what your vitamin D levels like? I mean, Ireland alone, our vitamin D is so difficult because we don't have the same sunshine as the rest of the world, as the further southern countries. But then at the same time, do we need supplements? How is our vitamin D level? Do you even know? So that might be worth looking at. The nourishment then is not just about what we put into our mouth. It's not just about food and drink. So obviously, the better the quality of the food and the water and the hydration that we have in our body, the better the body performs. But nourishment is also about what we expose ourselves to. Are we exposing ourselves to negative people, negative media? You know, is social media draining your energy? Is your phone draining your energy? Look at your phone usage, look at your computer usage. People working from home. Like, I could do a week-long series on people working from home and boundaries around the work phone and the work laptop, and, you know, having the office in your home 24/7. So just look at that. Again, we're looking at that scale, give it a score from 1 to 10. How happy am I with my current levels of nourishment? And look at everything that you put into your body that should nourish it. Is it making you feel good? Is it dragging your energy down? Is it giving you energy? Is it taking your energy? And if it's taking your energy, well, then you've got to correct it. You've got to at least put a plan in place to correct it. So that's your 4 cornerstones. You look at each corner and you give it a score out of 10. How happy are you with this area? And then what you do, you can work on one area at a time if you wish. Take it nice and gentle. Gentle progress is far more likely to stay with you than to be sustained than us trying to do everything at once. That's the mistake we make with most things in life. You see it a lot in January. Everybody makes about 10 different New Year's resolutions, and by week 1, they're falling flat in their place. So pick one and say, okay, this is my area of focus now. What one thing can I do to help me improve the that area, whether it's sleep, whether it's breath, whether it's activity, whether it's nourishment, and just add to it each week. So, okay, till you get to a point where you're thinking, okay, well, this is my plateau. Maybe 6 is my best score. Maybe 8 is my best score. And then look at the other areas and try and find a balance. So again, visualize the corners of a chair. If one is a bit higher than the other, or one is missing, one is completely gone, well, then, you know, you're going to be out of sync. So that's tool number 1 for this week. And we're going to come back next week. I'm going to address the people who are supporting other people that mightn't be feeling okay, particularly in the season, and some tips and some guidance on that. And then I'm going to continue the series throughout December on different tools. So I hope you found this tool today and this talk helpful. And please, you know, share it around to people that you think might benefit from it. And stay tuned. Every week there's a talk from JenTalks. So I look forward to connecting with you again next week. Thank you so much again for joining me. It's a pleasure as always. And yeah, take care from me. Enjoy the rest of your week. And don't forget to check out all the other videos on my channel. There's tons of stuff there to do with sleep, to do with nutrition, to do with nourishment, to do with activity, and of course breath. There's at least 3 or 4 videos on breath. So as we go through the weeks, I'll be introducing different tools, and each one of those tools has its own video on JenTalks. So I'll just be introducing the concept, and then you can go and find them on my channel, and hopefully they're going to help you get through this slump or whatever. It may be more than a slump. It may be a really difficult time for you, and if I can help you in any way, please know that I'm here, and know that we are all going through our own challenges at different times. Nobody is exempt from the challenges that life throws at us. And I suppose just to know that you're not alone. So goodbye from me. Thank you, everybody.